Hi, I'm Tolik Mirko, the video director here at Word of Life Church, and this is the first tutorial video on how to operate Camera One. Here we'll go over all the basics: how to turn it on, camera controls, camera movements, focus and iris, and of course, how to turn it off. Really, the hardest part about Camera One is grasping the idea of how a camera works, which is framing. Framing, when you're watching a movie or you're looking at photographs, is what's inside the image itself, what the director or photographer wants you to see. And the key thing to directing, photos, videos, anything at all, is understanding which frames are good and when to use them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's jump right in. So here we have the controller. So this is what operates the cameras. First, we got to turn it on. There should be a switch in the back left corner. You just switch it on. Power button should turn on. Screen should turn on. We wait for it to initialize. Don't touch any of the controls. You could end up breaking it. Then, once it's on, we have to turn on the actual cameras. The way that we do that is we click Menu, make sure that it's glowing, that it's selected. We go to 8, should say Group at the top. We take the F1 knob, we turn it to Power. We click it. Then you'll get Camera Power, Group On, and we switch it to All On. Click that, wait for the cameras to connect, and it should be on. When it's turning on, it should look something like this. There we go. Now we have both cameras on and they're ready to operate. Okay, so the next thing that we want is how to move the camera itself. So to move the camera up and down and left to the right, you have this knob right here. Left, right, up, and down. Pretty simple. Then, of course, we have to zoom in and zoom out. So here, we have the zoom in and zoom out. Those are the two main controls that you're going to have. And then, of course, let's say whatever you're zooming in or out of isn't in focus. So what you do is you zoom in all the way, and we turn this knob until it's in focus. Something like that. And then you can zoom out again, and it should look good, just like that. And then, of course, let's say the image is too dark. It's something like this, way too dark. Here you've got this iris control, and you turn it up until it looks something like this, where none of the whites are too blasted out, and none of the blacks are too dark. Something like this. And then, of course, we have some things that help move along just in case you're a little bit of a pinch. Let's say you need a shot immediately and you can't roll the focus. You can't move it like this. You can always click it and it will automatically focus. It will judge what you think is important and it will focus for you. And then let's say your knobs are too slow or too fast. Here you can turn down the speed of the movement or you can turn it up. So this is all the way up, really fast. And then this is all the way down, barely moving. So those are the basic controls and how iris and focus work. Some terms you need to understand to get the movement of cameras. The three of them are pan, tilt, and zoom. And in fact, the camera you're operating is called a PTZ camera, which stands for, you guessed it, pan, tilt, and zoom. These are simple but necessary terms that get rid of all the unnecessary language and create a universal code that all camera operators understand. It goes like this. Pans mean left and right movements. So when someone says pan to the left, you move the camera to the left. And when someone says pan to the right, move the camera to the right. Tilts are up and down motions. So tilt up means to tilt the camera upwards like this. And tilt down means to move the camera down like this. Simple enough. And then lastly, of course, zoom in means to get a closer shot of something. And then a zoom out means to get a wider shot of something. Lastly, we have to turn the controller and cameras off. You can't just hit the switch in the back because that doesn't actually turn the cameras off. So first, we got to go to Menu, just like before. Make sure that it's glowing. 8, F1 is turned to camera control or camera power, and then F2 is turned to all off. We push F2 and that should turn the cameras off. Now you can safely turn off the controller in the back. and everything should be off. And there you have it. Those are all the basic operations of how to control Camera One. In episode 2, we'll talk about all that framing I mentioned earlier and all the basic shots that any Camera One operator needs to know.